Okay, so today we will study Schumpterian model of creative destruction, which is specifically for economics honors SEM-5, economic growth in business cycles. We have the reference of Jones and Walrath, chapter 5. Okay, so basically, you must have studied Romer model and Solo model before that. Study those models first, then only you can build the foundations and the basic insight about what Schumpter wanted to prove or offer any insight about destruction and innovation and growth in the economies through this model. So let's begin. So first we have this aggregate production function. That is y equals k to the power alpha ai ly to the power 1 minus alpha. Now here ai refers to stock of ideas. As I increases, ai gets larger. Technology is upgraded. For example, we can tell that A1 was top, A2 must be the CRT computer, and A3 we can tell are LGD PCs. Alright, this is the basic idea about the innovation thesis, or the basic framework about which Schumpter takes on the idea further. Okay, so now innovation is noted by growth in the stock of ideas. So we have this ai plus 1 equals 1 plus gamma into ai. Okay, now here this gamma, this is very important, the step size. What this means is that this is the amount by which productivity rises when an innovation actually occurs. Okay, now here one more important thing, that size of innovation that is ai is held constant, and growth occurs through innovation. This is the basic crux about this Schumpterian model. All right, now we can use that equation again. We have to gamma, this is the growth rate of a from innovation to innovation. Okay, so now basically what we know is this chance of innovation depends on research effort. Okay, so we can define the probability of next innovation as some new bar where new bar equals theta LA, that is share of labor engaged in research, the power lambda minus 1 whole upon AI to the power 1 minus 5. We will come back to the interpretation of this very soon. So for the economy as a whole, probability of innovation equals nu bar into LA. We are multiplying the individual probability. With a share of or with the number of individuals engaged in LA. You can see that. Okay, so now we multiply, we get aggregate probability of innovation economy wide nu bar into LA, which comes out to be theta LA power lambda minus 1 on AI power 1 minus 5 into LA. Simplifying, we get theta. Okay, now we can see from this that if theta is belongs to for phi belonging to one second, if phi belongs to 0 to 1, as AI increases probability falls. Understand, AI is basically the productivity or the impact of research. So as it increases, the probability of further innovation falls. That's the basic. You can calculate the derivative and then analyze also. Okay. Now let's move to the capital accumulation equation. That is the basic. You must know that is K, share of population engaged in capital production minus, this is the savings rate, sorry, this is savings rate minus delta K, that is depreciation in the capital stock. Okay. Also, we have total labor force in the economy as L, and it is bifurcated into labor force engaged in research LA and labor force engaged in output production LY. Okay, now initially economy as K equals K naught, L equals L naught, A equals A naught, AI equals A naught. Now growth will consist of advancing to the next step, in the ladder of technology. ladder of technology. Okay, now similar to Rover model, we have three sectors in this Schumpter model also, and those are, let's write, final goods sector, research sector, and we have intermediate goods sector. Okay, now in this we have single monopolistic intermediate goods firm. Now what it does is it produces capital good. Uh, it produces capital good and through design or patent purchased from research sector. Purchased from research sector. Now what final goods sector does is it produces final output. Produces final output. Okay, using capital good and labor share of output, labor share engaged in output production. Okay, now what the research sector does is it sells patent or design, patent or design, the intermediate goods form, intermediate good form. Okay, now what basically happens is that when the research sector sells this patent or design through its to the intermediate goods firm, what it does is the intermediate goods firm monopolizes the entire market until another innovation occurs, and that particular monopolistic firm is replaced by the next more innovative firm which produces the more latest capital good or more latest technology. Okay, so the story basically we can make a flowchart here. The story starts from research sector which produces patent or design. Then they sell it to intermediate goods firm. It produces capital good XJ, XI, sorry, XI, and then final goods firm, final goods sector purchases this capital good that is XI, and then produces final output. It is final output Y. Okay, so let's begin now with the final goods sector. Okay, so basically, what our analysis in this model says that there's only one intermediate good that the final goods sector purchases from the intermediate goods firm. An intermediate goods firm is also only one monopolistic seller for the intermediate good or capital good because uh, if it is the firm which is producing or selling the latest technology, then the other firms are out of business. Okay, so only that one particular firm is surviving in the market. Okay, we can write only one intermediate good. Okay, now final good sector is has the production framework, production function as Ly to the power 1 minus alpha, xi to the power alpha, ai to the power 1 minus alpha, where this is the capital good we are talking about. Okay, now basically this market is characterized by perfect competition, large number of sellers. We have CRS production function. Uh, since if we double our labor and double the capital good, we would be getting twice of Li comma xi. Okay, homogeneous of degree 1. Okay, now some more notations. I is the version of capital good used. AI is productivity level of capital good. Okay, all right. Now, what problem do we face here to solve in this final goods sector? That is profit maximization. These perfectly competitive firms maximize profit. So we have maximize I equals Ly to the power 1 minus alpha, xi to the power alpha, ai to the power 1 minus alpha. We are normalizing price to 1. That is the basic assumption. Minus w into Ly, make it wy, wages for labor engaged in production of final output, minus pi, price of capital good, into xi. These are the cost, that is TC, total cost, and this is total revenue. Basic framework of profit maximization. Now what do? We partially differentiate del pi by del Ly. So this becomes 1 minus alpha, Ly to the power 1 minus alpha, xi to the power alpha, ai to the power 1 minus alpha, minus w, and put it equal to 0. Now from further simplification, we can see this comes out to be 1 minus alpha xi upon Ly power alpha. This comes out to be 1 minus alpha into ai to the power 1 minus alpha. Okay, now multiply numerator denominator by Ly, and this comes out to be Ly to the power 1 minus alpha, xi to the power alpha, ai to the power 1 minus alpha, which is basically the production function. And multiplying and dividing numerator and denominator, we get w equals 1 minus alpha y whole upon Ly. Alright, so this is our first important result. You can put it in the box. Okay. Okay. Now total we partially derivate profit function with del xi to the capital good. The choice variables are y, Ly, and the capital good. Okay. Now this comes out to be alpha Ly to the power 1 minus alpha xi to the power alpha minus 1 minus pi. Put it equal to 0. We get pi equals alpha Ly to the power 1 minus alpha xi to the power 1 minus alpha pi to the power 1 minus alpha. This is alpha minus 1. Okay, so now basically we can see from here that we employ labor until wage comes out to be equal to MPL. You can calculate the marginal productivity of labor from the production function yourself. And now from this we can see that we employ a price capital good until its marginal product is equals to its price. Okay, now this is another important result. We can put it in the box. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, now let's move to intermediate goods sector. Okay, let's now analyze intermediate goods sector. Okay, now we have a single monopolist which produces single version of capital good. That is XI. They buy a design. So this whole chapter 5, that is economics of ideas, and before that, this whole chapter in Romer model is Schumpterian model. The chapter before this, we have the economics of ideas, basically pointing towards the theory of economic growth through innovation, which results from creative destruction, as per Schumpter. And before that, from the research sector and patents, that was from Romer model. Okay, now here they buy a design from research sector. And pattern protection ensures that no one else can produce that version. Therefore, other firms are out of business. Okay, now here also this single monopolist maximizes profit. So let's see how this profit maximization problems solved. So we here maximize profit. II equals Pi. This is a demand function. Pi as a function of Xi into Xi, that is the quantity, minus R Xi. Total cost. This is the total revenue. Okay, now we partially differentiate respect to Xi, and we get X Pi dash Xi plus Pi Xi using the product rule minus R, putting it equal to 0. We get R equals X Pi dash, the function of Xi, plus Pi Xi, the function of Xi. Okay, now divide both sides by P. We get X Pi dash function of Xi and Pi plus 1. We divide Pi as function of Xi. Okay. Okay. Now what we can do is we can simplify it further. X Pi dash Xi plus Pi. We are taking the LCM. Okay, pardon my handwriting. Okay, now we take reciprocal. So we get Pi by R equals Pi whole upon X Pi dash Xi plus Pi. Okay, so now what we will do is a bit of manipulation, algebraic manipulation. We would get Pi equals, we are taking this Pi in the denominator side, and we get 1 upon 1 plus x pi dash xi upon pi. Okay, this is another important result. There's whole lot of maths involved in that, so better you all better can should have better differentiating skills and algebraic skills. Okay, now from final sector, final good sector, we had one result for pi. Let's move back to it. Here this is. Let's copy this one down. Okay, uh, copy. Let's copy it here. Okay, so we have this expression, and from this, this is from final good sector. From intermediate good sector, we have this pi. Okay, now what we want is something about this thing, x into pi dash xi upon pi. Okay, so what we will do is now we will differentiate this first with respect to x, because we want pi dash xi. Pi dash xi is basically del pi upon del xi. Okay, now we differentiate this, we get alpha minus 1 xi to the power alpha minus 2, rest as it is. Okay, now we are multiplying both sides by x upon pi. So basically we are trying to manipulate it in a way so we reach this thing. So we multiply both sides by x upon pi. We would be getting alpha minus 1. Now alpha minus 2 plus 1 would become xi to the power alpha minus 1, rest as it is, whole upon pi. Okay, now again we can write this back, the plug-in pi's value like this in this denominator. So what do we get? Let's see. Plugging back value of pi, alpha ly 1 minus alpha xi alpha minus 1, uh, xi alpha minus 1 pi el 1 minus alpha. So this goes off, this cancels up, ly cancels up, this cancels up. 1 second, we are missing something here. I think there is some error. Yes, where did this r go? It's multiplied here. Okay, so this alpha goes off, this xi cancels up, and we are left with alpha minus 1. So this expression is x upon pi multiplied by pi dash xi. Pi dash is a function of xi. Now we plug this value back into pi, which was r upon 1 plus x pi dash xi whole upon pi. Okay, now we are plugging this back. So pi equals r upon 1 plus alpha minus 1. This comes out to be r upon alpha. Okay, so this is an important result. The price of the capital good. We have solved for this. Okay, so we can write here any intermediate goods form Charge is a constant markup over the cost of producing the intermediate good. Why we can say this? Because constant markup, that is alpha, over the cost of producing the capital good. Cost of producing the capital good, that is R. Let's see if this is correct. Let's see, this is the total cost, so marginal cost would be R to derivate. Okay, this was the basic result from intermediate goods firm. Okay, now basically what Schumpter wants to say is that final goods firm only purchase only buy latest version of capital good. Latest version of capital good. Economies always operates with version I. That is the latest, not any I minus 1 or I minus 2 and so on. Okay, and basically that's the only reason that we have only single monopolistic firm which is in the business of intermediate goods production, because other firms which lack the design or patent for the latest technology from the research sector, it is out of business. Hence, only one intermediate good firm that owns patent version I will operate. Okay, all right. Now before moving to the research sector, we have a simple analysis for the profits of the intermediate goods firm. Like we can have a ratio, like we want to know about how much proportion of profits the intermediate goods firm is keeping to itself, and is spent how much is spent on taking the design from the research sector. Okay, so we first have profit as pi into xi minus r into xi. Okay, so we calculate a ratio spending on xi, that is r into xi upon total revenue from xi. This point is a bit difficult, so uh, try to focus. Okay, so we have r into xi whole upon p into xi. So this will come out to be r upon p, and which we have calculated as alpha. How is this alpha? Let's look backward. Pi equals r upon alpha, so r upon p comes out to be alpha. Okay, so we know now that intermediate goods firm spend alpha size of profits, alpha size of revenue on xi, on procuring the design of patent, that is xi, 1 minus alpha proportion of profits, 1 minus alpha proportion of revenues kept as profit. Okay, so let's write this in a bit more formal manner. Okay, so why do we say this? We have got 1 minus alpha of alpha y. Alpha size of revenue is spent on procuring the design of patent, and 1 minus alpha size is kept. 1 minus alpha proportion of the profits is kept as alpha size of 1 minus alpha size of revenue is kept as profits. Okay, now only one intermediate good. Firm. So all capital, aggregate capital basically in economy is used to produce latest version of capital good, latest version of XI. So we can say that X1 equals to K. Okay, so an aggregate production function that was K to the power alpha, no aggregate production function K to the power alpha Ly to the power 1 minus alpha 1 minus alpha. Okay, so so this was basically you can also spot the difference like that, spot the distinction or the similarities that in final goods sector we solved with production function y equals Ly to the power 1 minus alpha xi to the power alpha ai to the power 1 minus alpha, which is basically referring to this only because xi equals to k. Okay, so this was all about our intermediate goods sector and final goods sector from Schumpter model. Now we think we will continue with the research sector and some solving of the model in the next part. Okay, thanks for watching this video. If you have any suggestions or you spotted any mistake in calculations or anything else, you can put it in the comment box. I will try to correct them in future videos. For notes, you can check the description box. The PDF link would be updated there. Thank you.